Thief Simulator 2 is a simulation game that puts you into the shoes of a thief. As a thief, in the story mode, you have to get yourself out of debt, or you can play it in free mode and play it as you want to. So let's discuss. So Thief Simulator 2 is a game that was created by one person. That's important to get out of the way straight away. One person made this entire game, and it is a good game, it's a decent game, and there's some good ideas in it. But how much has this game changed since the first one? So for those of you that don't know, Thief Simulator 2 is a game that puts you in the shoes of a thief, and every single property within an area is a property that you can break into and steal stuff from. This gives you the ability with your skill tree to level up over time, get new skills, to get new tools in order to break into more difficult properties as you progress through the game. You'll start off with a very basic, breaking into an abandoned property, take everything you can, and then move on to other ones. You got the ability to mark tenants in order to learn their routines. You have to pay attention to these routines to break into the property when it's more feasible to do so. You can either, in some properties, wait for them to go out and then break into the property and steal stuff, or wait for them to go to bed. You can also go into properties where people don't leave the property at all, find out which rooms they go to at what times in the day, because people follow a very specific routine which is not overly realistic, but it does make it possible to break into properties at a time where you know that they're going to be in the bedroom and clear out the living room. As you progress through the game and upgrade your skills in the skill tree, you'll have the ability to unlock new tools, such as a normal standard lockpick, a more advanced lockpick, an automatic lockpick that does it all for you on specific doors only, and other things like glass cutting tools to cut through windows, and even agility abilities that allow you to climb through vents and up drain pipes and things like that. You'll find that your ability to actually break into properties later on in the game gets a lot easier, but then you move on to a whole new area, a new neighborhood, which will give you more difficult properties to have to break into, which then presents a challenge even when you have all the skills available. You gain experience in the game in order to level up your skills by stealing things from properties, and there are several other things in place to give you experience as well on your home computer at your hideout. Certain programs like Hell Neighbor give you the ability to take contracts where you have to destroy things in certain properties. Then you have a whole contract section that gives you contracts based on how much you have to earn or stealing a specific thing from a specific property. Later on in the game, though it didn't tell me about it when I got to it, there is a phone in the middle of the first area that you can answer, which gives you a challenge to steal a certain thing from a certain property within a time limit. It gives you a little bit of extra money as well. You have a car which you can put stuff, it's a pickup truck, so you can put stuff into the back of the pickup truck. There is not really any kind of capacity limit on that as far as I can see. You can just keep putting things in the back. This is for larger objects like TVs or large pictures, for example. In the right hand side of the car, you have a storage box that gives you the ability to put things into your car so you can clear out your inventory. And the difference between the first game is you don't have to travel to the pawn shop in order to sell your stuff. There is actually one local that you can just drive to. But saying that, there's also a box at your own hideout that you can put things into in order to sell them as well. So it gives you the ability to do a lot of things without having to travel back and forward between loading screens, which is ideal and a very good idea. You also have a drone that you're able to send up and look around and scope out areas. You can also use this to deactivate cameras as well, and as you upgrade your drone you can upgrade it to actually deactivate more than one camera at a time, which can be useful in certain properties where there's a lot of cameras around. There is a app which gives you tips essentially on how to break into certain properties. It will tell you the weaknesses, how there's ways into the property. It will tell you sometimes routine things about the properties and what the tenants do, and it will tell you where the valuable things are in the property or what valuable things are available to actually steal from there. As time passes, certain things do respawn back into properties, so you are able to go back into there later on in order to steal the things again. You have the ability later on in the game to also steal vehicles. Now this could be the case of having to pick the lock on the vehicle itself and then hotwiring the car very carefully by checking where the sparks are and then putting the wires into correct spots within the actual block. Later on you will have the ability to get a clone key thing that allows you to clone the ID of someone's car key and steal cars without having to worry about that, but there are the more modern, more up-to-date cars. So as you get to the more expensive properties in the other neighborhoods, you'll find you'll have these kind of tools available for you. You also have the ability to have a kind of companion that you can call into areas. If you're clearing out a property, you can call this person and you can get them to essentially pick up large objects and take it back to your car, or do other things within the property to help you to get in and out faster. Though this person does cost money to actually bring onto the property in the first place every time you call them. There is a story mode and there is a free mode. The free mode allows you to just go in and play it and do as you like. The story mode is kind of a little bit more interesting, though the story is not overly riveting in any way. It does introduce you to certain things and put you in a position where you're learning about things as you go, which is a good way to learn the game before you go into the free mode to just mess around. However, if you've played the first Thief Simulator game, you might be able to just go straight into the free mode and just mess around essentially. Also, go back to the car for a second, because I did forget the car is actually upgradable, so you can upgrade certain things about the car and change the color of it. This actually gives you the ability to make it faster or give it more grip or braking power, which makes it better for escaping the police when they do turn up. And that puts us onto the subject of the police. If a tenant finds you in their property, they will call the police. The police will come, they will search the area, and then they'll leave. If you're found by them, they will tase you. You can go to jail and then have to get out of jail, or you can load your last save. However, if you do keep running away from them, they do seem to have the ability to shoot you, which is not ideal. And if they find your car, you're instantly arrested and you lose. Even if your car isn't necessarily near the area, if they find it, they somehow know it's your car and you're the thief, and then you lose and have to load your last save, which I don't understand personally. It doesn't make any sense to me. When the police are called, you've got the ability to either run away, or you can hide in a dumpster or in a closet inside the house, or even under the bed until they leave the area. Some tenants do have things like pepper spray, and apparently some are armed, though I've not come up against one that's armed that has shot at me. They are armed, and some of them just scream and run away. You do have the ability later on into the game to get things like a sleeping gas to put the tenants to sleep in a property using their air conditioning, and you can get a baton where you can hit them to knock them down, but eventually they will get up and then they will call the police. So you have to kind of manage your time if you're going to do that. If you are found breaking into a property and the police are called, when you go back into the area, there will be essentially a burglar alert in the area where people will be aware that you're around. There will be posters that you can remove from certain areas within the map that allow people to recognize you, and when you remove them, they don't recognize you anymore. This is something you can do if you want to, or you can just stay out of the eyesight of people. You have other little tools available from the shop, like the balaclava, where you can put it on as a ski mask, as it's called in the game. You can put it on so that people can't recognize you when you go back. There are other little abilities like upgrading your property, changing some of the decorations of it, though there's not really any need for it until it gets to the point of the game where you've just got too much money and you can just waste it. Then you can upgrade your property. But overall, I think the game is actually a very good game. It's a good time waster sort of game. I've been playing it daily for several hours. I've been playing between several different games, but I keep going back to it. I think it's more of the case of just want to get through the game and complete it, and then I can move on to something else rather than just leave it there on my PC for 2 years and then remember, oh no, I've got that game, and then go back to it later. But yeah, definitely I recommend the game, so give it a go. It's not really expensive, it's quite easy to get. As usual, like, subscribe and comment down below. Hit that notification bell as well while you're at it. Thank you for watching my video. I've been greenlycan, and I will see you in the next one.